Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Thursday, March 9th, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We have a reverse aging health call tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Once we, as a people, as a civilization, begin to understand that we are the all-pervading, all-transcending reality, and to learn how to behave accordingly. Nisargadatta Maharaj. If we look at history, at all the wars and religions that were formed throughout time, they were all based on one thing. People did not feel intimately connected with their divine spiritual nature. If they did feel this real connection inside themselves, there would be no reason to fight for anything. They would have felt the deep healing peace of being at one with the divine. When we know deep down in our hearts that we are one with our divine spiritual nature, all is well. We feel perfect peace inside. No matter what is happening in the outer world, it just doesn't matter. We realize it is all temporary and not as important as the bliss available from being free. All our complaints and problems fade into the lightness and joy of our infinite spiritual nature, just as a candle flame disappears when held up to the blazing sun. All of our daily suffering boils down to this one simple thing: the belief in our separation from our infinite spiritual nature, the belief that we're separate from our infinite spiritual nature. It is a divine disconnection from the God source. This is all part of the soul's greater plan of awakening. So there's nothing wrong here. The ignorance of our spiritual nature is exactly how to rediscover and come back home to experience our divine spiritual nature. We must first close a door in order to open it. You must learn a new way to think before you can master a new way to be. Marianne Williamson. The enlightened state is a way of being, where the mind is at peace with itself. The demands and issues of this world no longer have the push and pull on us. We are no longer forcing ourselves to be on time, to stay busy, and constantly achieving something. The enlightened being is more interested in an exploration of the source of being free, which means having an abundance of leisurely time, sitting around, deeply relaxed, and doing absolutely nothing. This is what it takes to open up to finding the enlightened state. People have this, it's an addiction, if you will, that they feel that they have to be doing something all the time. If they aren't, they become guilty, frustrated, irritable, and very defensive. So this is, and maybe you've met people like that. Maybe you might be a little bit yourself like that. I can't just sit here and do nothing, see? And this has all been taught by our social structure. The enlightened state is a way of being, where the mind is at peace with itself. The demands and issues of this world no longer have the push and pull on us. We are no longer forcing ourselves to be on time, to stay busy, and constantly achieving something. The enlightened being is more interested in an exploration of the source of being free, which means having an abundance of leisurely time, sitting around, deeply relaxed, and doing absolutely nothing. This is what it takes to open up to finding the enlightened state. This is why so many of us never get there, because we're so entrenched with the ego minds as our masters telling us that we've got to get this done, and it's the mind doing that, pushing and pulling us. And the mind thinks, the mind, not you, the mind thinks over 60,000 thoughts a day on average. So it can be quite a drain on our energy to have to understand, organize, and feel into all of them. How to manage all these thoughts. Be more positive about them. Stick to the good thoughts and transcend the bad ones. Now, whatever all these thoughts are about, it doesn't really matter. Our true enslavement is created from one thing. We are unaware that we are continuously following thoughts, one after the other, like innocent little sheep. All problems are illusions of the mind, Eckhart Tolle. Most people are addicted to following the white sheep, good thoughts, and avoid the black sheep, bad thoughts. They were taught through social behavior that this is what you do to reach happiness, find success, and always survive. And yes, there is much truth to this. Yet, that mind game is never going to lead you to the ultimate freedom. What I'm suggesting that you try is something radically new. Stop following any of the sheep, no matter what size, shape, or color they are. We all have been following our inner flock of sheep for a very, very, very long time. Wherever they seem to wander, we just tag along. These sheep have us in a very deep trance, believing our thoughts are reality. And we may think that we don't have the option to step back from any of our thoughts at all. We've followed the same exact routes the sheep walked yesterday, and perhaps the day before that. So what else could there be? Be careful. These are lions in sheep's clothing. If you aren't aware that you're always following sheep, you may do this your whole life. And then one day, you'll look at yourself and realize you have become one of them. The very instant you stop following your flock of sheep, you will start to experience something very powerfully new. And don't take my word for it. Check it out for yourself. Practice stepping back from your sheep for just one day and see what happens. Get a bird's eye view on the entire pasture, and then step back from that thought inside your mind. Explore the experience of watching your flock of sheep with detachment. It all starts with being present to your own soft, sweet presence instead of the thoughts. Feel what is inside your heart instead of what is in your head. A soft, simple, pure awareness is always there, resting at our core. It is said that the level of intense desire that a drowning man has to inhale just one more breath of air, right? It is said that the level of intense desire that a drowning man has to inhale just one more breath of air is the same level of intensity we will need to find freedom from our minds. Freedom happens to those who do whatever it takes to wake up from the perpetually dreaming mind. By constantly following your thoughts, you become imprisoned in an addiction to serving them. Every thought you believe is true causes you to maintain the walls inside this thought prison. Wherever the sheep wander, you must follow them. How free is that? And when we're talking about following the sheep, we're talking about the mind's thoughts. Okay? A truly free being has the option to follow the flock or leave the pasture at any moment. This is all I'm asking you to explore. Your soul really wants to experience being free from the mind. Otherwise, you wouldn't be listening to me now. When you've tried every spiritual technique and still have not found freedom, take a chance to explore what I'm saying here this week. This is not about improving, changing, or fixing yourself at all. It's much easier than that. This is simply seeing who and what is already free from these thoughts. This one little inquiry can take you beyond the stars. Our journey is about being more deeply involved in life and yet less attached to it. Ram Dass. Our journey is about being more deeply involved in our lives and yet less attached to them. Now, before you eagerly pounce on this quest, I must warn you, the addiction to follow the sheep is very, very, very deeply ingrained. You may think that you are wiser, stronger, smarter because you are following the sheep. You might receive, loads of positive feedback for the wonderful sheep you've accumulated in your pasture. It may be very, very, very challenging to ignore your flock. Your flock is so soft, sweet, and naturally innocent. The addiction to follow sheep is very ancient. It's what we have done our entire lives. So it's not going to be easy. The mind is what enslaves us and eventually liberates us. We are constantly hypnotized by its power and caught in the matrix of ideas that it has formed around us. Our whole lives, we were taught that we must do something, right? Become someone, earn something, and make some success of ourselves if we wanted to be free. Now understand, during that time, those are other people's thoughts. We've believed we must follow these thoughts because they will give us those things we are searching for in this life. It's only when we go beyond the mind into pure consciousness, awakeness itself, that we will know we are free. Discovering our true nature is what will unblock us from manifesting what we really want in this life. And being crystal clear about my message. I'm not saying the sheep are the problem here. They are just sheep. In other words, they're just thoughts. The problem lies in the unconscious addiction to follow them and the ignorance that we are this amazing lion full of light and magical manifesting power. Yet everybody else is addicted to their minds, so it becomes a survival instinct to do what everyone else is doing. Follow the crowd. This is the habit that is deep in our psyche. Remain with your flock and never, ever step out of the queue. There are many, many, many juicy thoughts that will pull us in. Deep desires that our hearts are burning for will pull us back into the pasture every time. I'm not saying to try to get rid of them or that it's wrong to live your life eating the same grass and the soft green pasture every day. Simply understand how to remove your sheepskin and reveal the wild free lion raging inside you. Then you'll be eating the sheep instead of always following them around. When you know your mind intimately, you can easily choose not to follow the same sheepish beliefs others have. You can see the beliefs you inherited growing up, other people's thoughts, and not buy into their stories. You know your inner flock intimately and see how predictable and fixed it is. With this level of awareness, we can enjoy eating the soft green grass all day long, fulfill our desires, and not ignore our spiritual path. Be highly aware. The pasture of awakening is not for those who are attached to their comforts. You might become so content and sleepy there that there is no desire to explore any higher level of freedom at all. Comforts are okay, but it's our attachment to them that becomes the problem. Sooner or later, there will come a time in our lives when we realize that our ego is never, ever satisfied with anything. It's definitely not satisfying for the ego to stop following the sheep. This is because the ego is the entire black and white flock. It's also the tight, controlling electric fence surrounding them. There's no way to escape from this hypnotic, addictive flock until you rip off your disguise and reveal the wild lion within you. You must choose to use every power and resource inside you to do this. Do whatever it takes to be free from the sheep. Walk around every day yelling blah, 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 blah. If this is what it takes to let go of everything. All is a play in consciousness. All divisions are illusory. You can know the false only. The true you must yourself be. Nisargadatta Maharaj. I hope we realize by now that the purpose of this meditation is to provoke you, shake you, wake you, stir up more awareness inside you, so that perhaps one lazy weekend, when you're checking your mail, you have the insatiable burning desire to be free. If and when you truly want to be free in this lifetime, it takes courage, curiosity, vigilance. The courage to be real, the curiosity to keep you innocent, and the vigilance for stepping back from this habit of the following sheep. If no radical new thinking is introduced, our minds will continuously follow the wandering, lost, hungry flock of sheep, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. To begin freeing our minds from their long history of enslavement, turn up the volume on your longing desire to explore the spiritual mystery of who and what you really are. What this means is that every chance you get, take the time to dive into this question. Who am I? You are not these thoughts. So who are you? Freedom will come more quickly. More often you inquire into this. Use all the freedom, the free time you have to sincerely ask yourself this question. Who am I? Every time you're waiting in line at the store, in traffic, or anywhere, take time to relax. Breathe deeply, slowly, and feel into the space which separates you from the next imposing thought coming in. Practice, practice, practice. Letting the space between your thoughts get wider, wider, and wider. If you meditate and the devil comes, make the devil meditate. You can let go of the thinking machine. We all can. And become that which is aware of it, the God, existing beyond it, gently observing, being the non-attached observer who is allowing all thoughts to pass on by. Be silent. Be still. If you want to be centered. Imagine what it's like to be free from all thoughts. and just feel the soft stillness inside you. Imagine what it's like to be free from all thoughts and just feel the soft stillness inside you. This is the first step to total freedom. The second step is being eternally patient with yourself. Good news is that you have an infinite amount of time to get it right. Our souls have been trying to reach the ultimate state of freedom for a lifetime. And it is going to keep getting lost and unaware that we are lost again in the pasture, following the butt of yet another sheep, until you are fully integrated in this new perception. The black and white wandering sheep are always going to be surrounding you, for they are actually what is assisting you in your awakening process. It's good to remember that when anybody has a truly revolutionary spiritual realization, it doesn't make the front page of the papers. It usually goes unnoticed. The collective consciousness of society cannot utilize it. So it remains hidden in the dark basement, in safe storage. The secrets that will liberate people from all their suffering is inside the basement of the subconscious mind. The only way to access it is through quieting the mind, which comes through practice, patience, and consistent self-inquiry. Don't take anything too seriously, because it's all a dream. Our thoughts will always attempt to shake us up or put us to sleep. They will do this until we are far beyond the flock. We must choose to move gently and persistently through the flock with a burning desire to get beyond it. If and when we are truly persistent in our devotion for freedom, we will move beyond the sheep, and the day will come where we will see the golden sunrise in the infinite pastures beyond the rolling green hills. This universe will invite us, push us, pull us, and entice us, so that one day we are forced to master ourselves. All the greatest treasures are hidden behind that which we wouldn't want to be with. We are this ultimate mischief and brilliance. All the wisdom, compassion, and treasure is within us. So where are you going to hide it? Pamela Wilson. This life will always feed us feelings of suffering and ecstasy until we master our thoughts. It will constantly invite us to pay attention to that super important sheep thought who is standing right in front of you. Remember one thing here. This universe is divinely intelligent and designed to liberate us in the most mysterious of ways. It is here to turn us into an enlightened master, so that we manifest everything we want in our lives. Every person we meet is actually a teacher, showing the next step to liberate ourselves from our thoughts. If and when we honestly want this experience of absolute freedom in our lives, we simply have to pay more attention to our burning desires to be free. Now, the next piece of wisdom I'm going to share just might be the greatest sacred secret that will transport you into total freedom. I haven't told you yet. It is deeply powerful and will transform your entire life when applied. So please use it. Meditate on it. The very moment you wake up in the morning, when you consistently practice this little secret I'm about to tell you, you will stop all suffering in your life. It may not be easy to remember, and you are very likely to forget it, because there are soft, white, fuzzy sheep all around you, in every direction you look. So write it down. Post this one little question on your fridge, your bathroom mirror, or by your bed. What, and here it is, what is beyond form and formlessness? What is beyond form and formlessness? The greatest secret to freedom will come to you from sitting and feeling into the answer. What is beyond form and formlessness? And yeah, this could turn into another sheepish thought for the mind to think about, yet truly, this is the lion that will take us beyond them all. To ride the back of this lion, we must feel the answer in our bones. We have to get beyond our heads to win the jackpot. We must feel into it with our hearts and souls and get a sense of what the answer really means. The mind is too small of a container to hold the answer, so don't look there. You'll need to step beyond your mind and stop using the mind to discover the answer. The spiritual being who you are is formlessness. The spiritual being who you are in that body is formlessness. The body is form, right? Yet what is beyond these both? What is beyond form and formlessness? We must feel into it with our heart and soul and get a sense of what the answer really means. We know that our minds are too small of a container to hold the answer, so we'll need to step beyond our minds and stop using the mind to discover the answer. The spiritual beings that we are is formlessness. The body is form. Yet what is beyond these both? Meditate on that until you have a direct experience of it. Don't rely on the mind for liberation. Just have faith and act on it. You are the sum cause of this entire universe, Nisargadatta. Very soon, you'll discover your true infinite nature. It is that which is beyond words, time, and timelessness. And yes, we want to honor the fact that you are this body, and yet you are not this body. You are these thoughts, and yet you are beyond them. You are the spirit, and yet you are something beyond the ideas of what we think a spirit is. You are beyond the form and formlessness. You are beyond that which can be spoken. Who and what you are is infinite. And this means you are beyond language. If and when we could talk about it, right? If and when we could talk about it, that would create a limitation on it. How many lives are frittered away, age after age, in endless coming and going. Find out who you are. Ananda Mai Me. Ma. When you realize that you are beyond form and formlessness, then everything changes. You become the master of your reality. You realize that you already are the ultimate sheep herder of all the sheep in this entire universe. So it doesn't matter if there's 300 sheep surrounding you, or if some old mean sheep herder in the black sheep pasture pulls you into his dark flock. You are that which is beyond the herd, beyond the green grass, beyond the seasons, and beyond time. When this discovery is made from the heart, something deep inside you surrenders and relaxes. You feel the bliss of pure being. You meditate on this and feel what it's like to be that which is beyond form and formlessness. Once you let it sink in, it will bring such a deep relaxation into your life. When every cell in your body relaxes into this understanding, you will truly become unstoppable. The concept alone that we are beyond this form and formlessness is not the gold mine. The true wealth comes from the experience. That we are beyond the form and formlessness. This experience is the ultimate state of freedom. There is no higher peak to climb. You can stop right here. Your spiritual search can end here. You can simply merge with this peak. It will instantly come into you if you surrender to it. Let it slip into you. For you cannot push yourself into it. Do this daily, and you will feel you will be free from any future suffering. It's like nothing you've ever experienced before. Realize this. And nobody, absolutely nobody, will ever disturb you again, or can ever disturb you again. You will be beyond the pasture, freed from the prison of unconsciously following another sheep ever again. If you think you are enlightened, go spend a week with your family. Ram Das. This is our journey. Part of our journey is going beyond this form and formlessness. And eventually it's leaving the mind permanently alone. The mind and the ego are there to push us deeper within. They serve their purpose. How many of us truly, right, through the heart-mind, desire to have no more suffering in this life? How many of us? What would we do with ourselves to discover the God within us? and to be freed from all suffering from that point forward, which means we are not form and formlessness. Just the spirit is formlessness, the God, and the body is form. We're beyond both. One would ask, well, then what are we? We're beyond consciousness. This is a step process. First, you begin to realize that you don't need to follow any of those thoughts that come in from the ego mind. None of them. Because what are they usually about? Stress, worry, fear, most of the time. Or getting and having, most, sprinkled in as well. How do you transcend that? Thoughts come in. Remember, ego mind pumps out about 60,000 on average a day. Thoughts. This is what people say about mind chatter, right? Noise. Thoughts after thought after thought after thought after thought after thought after thought. Never ends. And then you get to a point where you say, I don't care to engage in those thoughts. What are you thinking? Nothing. Well, you've got to be thinking something, or you'd be dead. You see how the interpretations are in our society? I choose. I choose to not think. I choose to not entertain all of these thoughts that flood in every single day, in the thousands, tens of thousands. I don't care to engage in them. See, then what happens, they never have a chance to form. They don't have a chance to form because you haven't given them any power. So they float right by. If you ever, laying down somewhere and look at the sky, on a nice day, sunny, no chemtrails, and you look and you see some clouds, and the clouds, you're just watching them, and the clouds just kind of slowly, just kind of float by, change form, right? You see them change, and then they just kind of float by. But you don't reach out and grab one. You don't jump into one either. I'm not interested in that. I don't care to do that. Don't you want to be a big, huge success in this life? Because, see, until we discover really, truly who and what we are, we're going to continue to suffer. We will continue to be disappointed. Yeah, we'll get things and be happy for a short period of time, then they'll fade out. And then we need more, and then we have to have more entertainment, and the ego is so insecure. More entertainment, more thought, more entertainment, more thoughts coming in. I have to have this, I want this, I need this, I want that. And you ever notice it never satisfies us? More and more and more and more and more and more. This is when the ego mind, basically is in charge of the whole shebang. And many people, many lifetimes, are controlled by the ego mind. And literally diving into those 60,000 thoughts a day. And you see, to achieve, we already are there with that. Beyond form and formlessness. We're supreme divine beings that never die. We're master manifestors. We're the only thing that doesn't change. And we're the only thing that's real. Anything that changes is not real. No matter how it seems to you that it is not real. Only you are. That's it. This is a playground. It really is. And we're in it. We're not really of it, but we're in it. It's like, it's like going to the biggest playground you've ever seen in your existence, and you say, there's so many different types of swings. There's so many different types of teeter-totters. There's so many different types of monkey bars and climbing gyms and everything that you could possibly imagine and beyond. And that's what this universe is like. It's a playground for us gods. And then we enjoy the life. See, we know we're entering a game, and we know it's a playground, and we know it's not real, but we're there to enjoy it. Right? But not being of it. Not from it, not of it. But we step into it. And we discover, this body's got an ego mind. Right? And this happens and that happens. This goes on and that goes on. We've got all these things that happen. And we suffer and we get angry and we experience pain and sorrow and anguish and happiness and joy. But you ever notice there's always something missing, isn't there? Do you ever get that feeling? It's kind of fleeting, but every now and then you say to yourself, something's missing. It just seems incomplete. And one time or another, we all have that. We all experience that kind of a nudge by the gods that we are. And so then we start saying, well, that means that we've decided to go within and stay within. We've decided to figure out who and what we are. We know that the body is form and the spirit is formlessness. But, okay, so we've identified that. So then we go beyond the formlessness. What is there? What is this? It's pure divine energy that can take on any form it chooses, that has consciousness, but has mastered the consciousness. We create, but we don't know it, because we're detached from the gods that we are in these bodies, formlessness, and also we haven't discovered what's beyond formlessness. Could it be that as the supreme divine beings that never die, that we are, truly, could it be that all of us, in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever, all of us are learning, right? And at the same time, we're all, and this is where a disconnect is. At the same time, we are all knowing, all seeing. On one hand, we're like babes in the woods. We don't have a clue starting out. We embrace other people's thoughts, programs, right? Where else are we going to get the information? And then we usually go through the lifetime, and then we leave the body. And we could do that thousands of times. So what are we experiencing? We're experiencing everything we create, so we create things to experience them. And that's interesting, isn't it? No matter what they may be. It might be real, small and average or humongous. But that's what we're doing. We're creating and experiencing all the time. We don't stop. So we create. We take energy, we move it into form. We create it into reality, and we experience it. Now, it doesn't mean it's a bowl full of cherries all the time. What does it mean? Well, what you're looking at is we create things to challenge us so that we learn and move beyond the challenge. Now, if we just created funny, fluffy, warm, soft things, we would become bored. So we create things within that span, right? Okay, so I know the body is form, and I know that the spirit is formlessness. All right, so what's beyond that? Everything and nothing. You're the universes. The God that you are is the universes. The metaverses. All existence and beyond. All consciousness and beyond. Okay? And it's beginning, slowly but surely, the civilization is beginning to comprehend the fact, a little bit at a time, I am all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. I am all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. What does that mean? Is that ego mind? No. From the heart. It's a statement. All of us are that. And it's infinity and beyond. We keep expanding. We keep reaching out and expanding and growing and advancing once we've set ourselves free on our own discovery of who and what we are. The God is everywhere. You, the God, is everywhere. All of us have the gods within us. We're everywhere and nowhere. We're everything and nothing. We are the sunsets and the sunrises. We are the rain, the snow, the sun, all the stars in the solar systems. We are the nebulas, the pulsars. We're everything. We are made of the same essence that is creation. We always have been. It's kind of a little mind-boggling when you begin to finally step through that door to realize that all this is temporary. We're playing in a playground, right? That's why we talk about don't be so serious about life. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. One of the best ways to enjoy yourself is help others. Truly is. Because you're helping yourself. Well, if I'm helping Jane, how in the heck does that mean I'm helping myself? You're helping Jane, and Jane's carrying around in that body of form, formlessness, God. You're doing the same thing. You're not the body. You're not the form. So you're saying that the God in Jane, that's what she truly is, and the God in me, of what I truly am, is one. Exactly. But to me, it seems that that's just absolutely crazy because she's over there. And that's the illusion. That's the illusion that we overcome. That she really isn't over there. That we're all one. And yes, we have our own consciousness, and we're all learning and experiencing and having fun and enjoying and moving into bliss and total peace and out of suffering permanently. This is what we're doing. Many will go another lifetime, and another, and another, and another, until finally they get it. Others will get it. I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. Let's practice loving all day today. Self-appreciation, self-acceptance, and self-approval are the essential building blocks of self-love. Practicing self-love helps us feel like we're a worthy, valuable human being. Even if we get everything we want, or we don't receive anything we want. When we always love ourselves, it doesn't matter so much what happens on the outside. We don't have to improve anything about to deserve our dream life. We already deserve to receive whatever our heart desires because you are worthy of everything in this life exactly as you are. Life is really, really, really that beautiful. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night and following morning. We will return here tomorrow, Friday, March 10th, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call, and 9 p.m. Eastern to continue our reverse aging health call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. And practice, practice, practice deep gratitude 24/7. We never will run out of things to be grateful for.